You seek a great fortune, you three who are nigh in change. You will find a fortune, though it will not be the fortune you seek. But first you must travel a long and difficult road. A road fraught with peril. You shall see things wonderful to tell. You shall see a cow on the roof of a cotton house. And oh, so many startlements. I cannot tell you how long this road shall be, but fear not the obstacles in your path. For fate has vouchsafed your reward. Though the road may wind, yea, your hearts grow weary, still shall ye follow the way, even unto your salvation.
I think the best way for me to put it would probably be that the reason I make art will always remain the same, and that it's just what I do. And it's like, I don't want to say it's all I know. I obviously know many other things, but it's the only thing that I'm really, really passionate about. It's the only thing that I do that I can't really explain why I do it. And it's just something that I don't remember not doing it. So regardless if there's an audience there or not, if there's people that like it or not, if there's people that give me any credit for what I do, that's never really been my motivation or my focus, really. Because I think that just leads to heartbreak, honestly. Because there's always going to be people that hate your shit. There's always going to be people that want to succeed more than you. There's always going to be people that are willing to play dirty when you're not. That's just life. And so the less you can take personal, and then the more you can just do for yourself for the sake of creation and for the sake of doing it because it makes you feel more of whoever you are, I'd say you're going to have like a way happier, more peaceful life. And that's kind of just generally what I'm shooting for.
Like that, right there. I don't know what the fuck that was, but it works, right? Like, you just gotta let it go sometimes. I don't know. You know what? That's good. I like that.
I think success, as I've gotten older, I've learned is very tailored to the individual and what you view success as. There's people that view success as like yachts 6 months out of the year and vacationing in Italy and stuff like that. For me, it's just literally waking up and not having to work for somebody else is a huge part of it. And just being able to be there while my kids grow up and to help my wife through the day-to-day things like I'm able to, that's what I value the most. And so that's kind of what I've put my focus on, more so than how much money each painting's selling for or anything like that. It's just what freedoms has this allotted me to have in life, because I know very, very wealthy people who are just utterly miserable because they didn't work for their freedom, they worked for money. And they're so far in it that they don't even understand that they could pay their way for their own freedom if they really wanted to. But because of the constructs they've set up in their own mind by the way that they built their empire or whatever it took for them to get to that point, they just don't seem to even like grasp that concept a lot of the time. So that's hard to watch. And that's something that I have learned from other people's mistakes and just did not ever want to do that myself. So yeah, to me, time is money, and time is the most valuable asset we have, as long as you're healthy and able to enjoy your time, I'd say. But yeah, I would say that that's more of what I value and what I view as wealth. I guess what I'm trying to do is establish over a long period of time whatever my signature look is by being completely open every day in how I am creating. So like, again, my next painting after this one will probably not be where I'm standing here, fine detail painting anything in. They're probably gonna be like the large abstract pieces or different things like that. And I think that just by like staying consistent really over time is what's gonna do it. It's not necessarily waking up every day and being like, oh, I have to do this way because I wanna stick with this. It's just kind of innate that every day that I wake up and I continue to do this, it just continues down the same path kind of. And like I might get a new tool, I might get a new brush, I might get a new color, or mix something new or something like that. But beyond that, like the act of doing the work, I kind of have like figured out what my way of doing that is, and I feel like that's kind of what keeps everything like running down the same road over time. Maybe it's just the same character in a different plane of existence, right? Like maybe it's just like the attached, yeah. Or the attached oversoul that like has different fingers and different realities or some shit like that. I have a feeling eventually there will probably be a few more things like this that'll come up that I'll do, and then probably they'll start coming together is what I'm thinking is probably gonna happen, but I don't know. You never know. We'll see. I love that, actually. That's probably my favorite part so far of still being at this point in my career where nobody knows really who I am or what I look like, because my favorite thing is to just wander around the gallery, not really directly connecting with anybody, but just kind of creeping behind their conversations and listening to their thoughts and opinions on the work. And like, it's everything you'd expect. You get the stuff where they stand there and they're like, my kid could do this, I don't understand the price, blah, blah, blah. And then you get the people who actually are like trying to understand in different things. And that can be interesting too, because a lot of my work being so abstract, there isn't really a direct thing I'm trying to say with the piece. I'm just creating it and kind of putting it out there so people can dissect it themselves and turn it into whatever they turn it into. And so that's kind of where I get to enjoy that a little bit. Is at those shows, listening to the people and what they have to say, and especially when they don't know, they don't think that I'm the one who created it, so they're just saying everything. And I appreciate that kind of feedback. I don't want censored feedback. I don't care if you're gonna say it in an abrasive way or some shit like that. It's not really gonna hurt my feelings. I'd rather know why, if somebody doesn't like it, why they think it's garbage or whatever their opinion is. And most people are justified in that. Like I don't ever try to sit there and act like this is like the most amazing thing in the world. I'm putting paint on a canvas. People have done it for a really long time, but I do like to hear what people think and what it does for them and what they see and pull out of them sometimes is quite interesting. Yeah, I would say my advice for most things is, especially with creative things, if it's not flowing in some capacity, don't force it and just pivot to something different. But usually most people have 5 to 6 different hobbies or things that they enjoy doing. one of them usually flows very, very freely, and the universe doesn't seem to like fight it too much. That's usually how, for me, I always knew that this was what my main focus should be, because I'll still always create music. I'll still do all these other things with clothing and different things like that that I love to do. But the art is the one that feels like I've lost a limb when it's not there. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like wrong if I'm not creating something or planning to create something or working towards something that I'm going to create in the future. When you have to force things in life, it really drains the hell out of you. And creation is one of those things where you need immense amounts of energy, even if it doesn't seem like it. Like, there's so many hours spent in this room of me just staring at the walls, like just thinking, contemplating, just being there, so that way when the moment hits, I can get up and go and start the painting or whatever it is that I'm working on. And I just know some people, I've met some people, some are younger, some are more of my age, but there's a problem right now where a lot of people want things for the wrong reasons. And if I'm talking to you about art for the first time ever, and I've just met you, and I'm even coming and bringing the idea of like working together, the amount of money that we're gonna make off of the idea is not where I wanna start our conversation. And I think that's kind of ties into what we were talking about earlier, where the poisonous aspect of social media and all these different things come into play anymore, because some people are involving themselves in worlds like painting, like fashion, like music, that they're just coming into it in the very beginning with the wrong intentions. And they're not doing it for the sake of what they're creating or even why they're creating it. They're doing it for the sake of profit. And that really bothers me, because there's a whole world for that. There's the whole branding and marketing of corporations and companies and logos and hell, tattoo design. Like, there's all of that in the world already. Please don't bring that into these few sacred places like painting that are left, that fortunately for now are still like derivative of what they were intended to be. It's a really weird connection, but it's kind of similar to like what we've seen play out with golf over the last like 5 to 6, however long that's been going on, where like for the first time ever, there was a competitive organization that came in, and then it caused all kinds of problems, and then the heritage company didn't want to adopt anything new, and then the older ones. It just seems like sometimes things are meant to be a certain way, and they're not supposed to be fucked with or altered. And again, there's so many avenues of creation of art through digital media, through just like paint style media, graffiti, urban culture, whatever you want it to be, that the reasonings, just because we don't understand them anymore because so much time has passed and we don't have people there to like pass down information from generation to generation, doesn't actually give people the excuse to come in and totally destroy something that actually has like heritage and lineage to it. And that's a very long-winded answer for that question. But I just think that my biggest concern with anybody is their intentions generally. And with art, even more so, just because I'm very protective of it, because I feel that there needs to be strong-willed people in the world that are protecting these things, because if not, then they're just going to go to shit like we've seen absolutely everything else in our culture and throughout everything. So, yeah.